Alright guys, I just got finished watching TNA Impact Wrestling for May 24th, 2012, and oh my god, this was hell to be able to finally watch. I was supposed to go watch Men in Black 3 tonight at midnight, which I'm going to do, so I was watching Impact, I was DVRing it, and I let it build up a little to get through the commercials. And apparently the DVR did not record any of Impact, so luckily I was able to find the first part of the show online and then finish the show. But yeah, it was just a lot of rushing for time here. So anyways, it's open fight night tonight. They announced that next week it's going to start the show at 8 o'clock. Impact's going to be live from now on, which I think is an improvement. It's going to help the show overall. Hogan comes out. Well, actually, he doesn't come out. He's backstage talking to the guys. He's telling them what's supposed to happen tonight. He's talking to Bully Ray, Kurt Angle, AJ, and Jeff Hardy. He says the paper says he resonates open fight night, and he has to pick one of the four. He says if Rude wins, he will become the greatest of all time. Bully, AJ, Kurt argue about Kurt's gold medals. They're mad that AJ says he was the longest reigning champion, and Kurt says, what does that mean? And he says, well, what does a gold medal mean? It was just really bad dialogue here. It feels like a sitcom again, like it did at the last open fight night. Hogan says that with him coming in, guys like Bully Ray and all these other stars, it's really changed the way they produce wrestling. Bully tries to convince him by shooting on him, saying that, you know, I remind you of the guys you used to hang out with back in the old days, and I'm the most legit. I could intimidate you, Hogan, if I wanted. I thought it was pretty good. They start arguing again, except Hardy. Hardy's not arguing with anyone. And then Hogan says that there's a lot of good having Bobby Roode as champion, but he's starting to control the pace of the company. Bully's eliminated because he's never won the big one, as Hogan says. So since he's never won the belt before, he's out. So now it's just down to Kurt, AJ, and Hardy. The first match, Gail Kim comes out because of promo, saying she's the most dominant Knockouts champ in history, and she built the division. She has a problem with ODB and Eric Young representing the Knockouts tag titles, and she calls them out for open fight night. So it's Gail Kim and Madison Rayne versus Eric Young and ODB. They're still doing the crush angle with Madison. Eric Young actually does a few moves against women here in this match. Before, ODB would always work the match. Eric Young would never touch the girls, but he did a few body slams and arm drags here. So yeah, that was okay. And then ODB goes for a fallaway slam. Madison holds her leg while Eric Young is showboating or something. I don't know what the hell he was doing. And Gail gets the pin. So there was no title change. It wasn't for the belts or anything, but they did beat Eric Young and ODB. Backstage, Hogan takes a call, says he made the first cut and it wasn't pretty. And then he says, holy shiz. And I just laughed my ass off at that. I don't know why. It was just goofy Hogan being absurd. RVD comes out, says he's been too busy trying to give the people a role model. Yeah. To let some unfinished business slide. He calls out Gunner. If you remember, most of you probably don't, but Gunner hit a double arm DDT on the concrete on RVD back in January, which laid him out. So that's supposed to be the setup here. At least they remembered the angle. So I got to give him credit for that. We get RVD versus Gunner. Gunner brings a chair in, but gets a Van Daminator and then a frog splash. RVD gets the win. It was an average match, but it was cool to see the Van Daminator. So Devon comes out, says he is going to be a fighting champion, and it shows Joe Parks in the crowd here. Devon gives Garrett the opportunity since he eliminated him in the Battle Royal. We get Garrett versus Devon for the TV title. I knew this would happen. I called it last week. Garrett loses by DQ when Rob Terry and Robbie E attack Devon. I was talking to someone online during this match, Stops Copies Me 91, and he said it was really funny how Taz says they just ruined a great match. Because this most definitely was not a great match. But anyways, the two guys attack them, and then Garrett and Devon team up and fight back and clean them out of the ring. Yeah, this is just a way for Garrett to lose the match without actually losing the match. So they're still probably going to put him as TV champion at some point. I definitely see that happening, sadly. I did see a "You are not on the list" sign in the crowd, which I thought was cool. So Hogan has to make another cut. He says Hardy's victories have been too close and he needs someone he can count on 100%, so he eliminates Hardy. He says he needs to know who the fans want between AJ and Kurt, so he will decide in the ring. Bully comes out, cuts a promo on the fans, calls out Joe Parks. I don't think this was open fight night. I think this was just part of an angle. Parks says he's not a wrestler. He's never been in a real fight. He asks for some space. He says he just wants some answers about Abyss. Bully tells him to knock the bass out of his voice right now. Parks says he's learned to tell if a man's guilty by looking in his eyes. The fans chant guilty, and I'm trying to find out of what. What is he guilty of? Abyss has already come back. What do these people think Bully Ray did to him? We've already seen Abyss return, so he's not dead somewhere. He's not missing. So how is Bully Ray guilty of anything? He just went out there and had a match with the guy. So I don't think they know where they're going with this, but I enjoy Joe Parks. So he has the fans act like the jury in the case against Bully. In the case of his missing brother, Chris, you know, Abyss. And he actually said the line tonight, and they all think he's guilty, so Bully gets pissed off. He lays out Parks, he hits him with the chain and says not guilty. Then we get Gut Check with Joey Ryan from PWG, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. I Wikipedia'd this guy, and it says he was an assistant trainer on Hulk Hogan's Championship Wrestling. So, yeah. And it also said he was a trainer on RuPaul's Drag Race. So those are just a few fun facts about Joey Ryan. Austin Aries is his opponent. It's the Battle of the Mustaches. Joey Ryan looks like a 70s porn star, but I think it looks cool. We get Aries versus Joey Ryan. Taz is talking shit about a pump handle slam or a pump handle suplex he uses in the match. Just ridiculous. Aries wins with a brain buster, and that was pretty much it. I thought it was okay. Nothing really special here, but it was alright. So Rude, Angle, AJ come out. Hogan comes out last to huge pyro again. I don't think anyone else on the show got pyro, but Hogan got a shitload of it. So Hogan comes out. He says he can't make a wrong decision with either guy. He goes with AJ since he knows Bobby Roode more. We get Bobby Roode versus AJ. We see a video of someone telling Hogan his guest is here. AJ goes for the 450 springboard, but he's acting distracted. He's looking behind him for Kazarian and Daniels. Roode gets the knees up and hits a fisherman suplex for the win. Roode celebrates his longest reigning TNA champion in history. He gets some champagne. He tells Hogan to come out and drink with him. Confetti falls all over him. He rolls around in it. This was awesome. Hogan eventually comes out. Roode, at this point, gets something in his eyes. I don't know if it was some champagne because he was throwing it around, or if it was the confetti. Maybe something came off when he was rolling around in it, but the guy is legit blinded here, messing with his eyes, and the camera just focuses in on it the entire time. Almost probably a full minute of just focusing on him, like trying to get stuff out of his eyes. And this is a tape show, so I'm not sure what they were thinking with this camera angle here. But Hogan comes out, says it's just going to get harder. The lights go out and Sting shows up. He lays out Roode. Hogan puts over the time slot change, and he says at the start of the show next week at 8 o'clock, it's going to be a lumberjack match with Bobby Roode versus Sting. So they're definitely advertising the time change, which is good for them. I thought this was a good impact. The main event with AJ and Roode was really good, and I thought overall it was a pretty entertaining show. Gut Check wasn't too bad this week with Joey Ryan, and I thought it was a decent episode. Next week, it's good that they went ahead and advertised the match, and so everybody, you got to remember, if you do watch the show, it's going to be on at 8 next week, but it's going to be live, so they're not going to be able to tape the shows and edit out all the mistakes and fix things, so we'll see what happens next week. But that's it. I'm going to go watch Men in Black 3 and get a review of that up later tonight, so I hope you guys can check that out. Leave your thoughts on this week's Impact in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Bye.